Welcome back to the South Stands, a Buckeye football podcast by Ohio State fans for Ohio State fans. From the West Coast, I'm your host, Zach Moore. Today is Thursday, August 14th, 2025, and I'm very happy to be joined once again by fellow South Stands contributor, Paige Van Horn from Denver. PBH, how's it going, my friend?
Dude, we're getting close. It's hot as shit in Denver. Excited to be talking to you boys. But yeah, we're on the precipice now, aren't we?
We are right there. Yes, sir. Good to hear your voice, my friend. We are also, at long last, joined by our wayward friend, Chad Plummer from Cleveland. CP, what's the word from the 216?
What's up? What's up, guys? It's good to be back. You know, my apologies that I couldn't make that 200th episode, but
that was a big one to miss, 200.
It was, and I feel very badly about it. And I sent you guys the text thread about what happened. Friday night was
Yeah, no, I mean, it's no big deal. And actually, I didn't even realize until I posted the recording that it was our 200th episode. That's why we badly need a second producer or somebody to keep track of shit around here.
But it's good to be on here with you guys, man. I can't believe we're like 17 days away.
Yeah, 16 days.
Football.
Yeah.
16 days.
Yeah, we are actually only nine days from the start of the 2025 college football season, because week 0, as it's known, begins next Saturday, August 23rd, with 5 games, guys. And that slate includes a top 25 matchup in Dublin, Ireland, between Big 12 foes number 22 Iowa State and number 17 Kansas State. And CP, as you've just mentioned, we're only 16 days from Ohio State's colossal season opener with Texas, which in the eyes of the preseason AP poll that was just released on Monday will be a number 1 versus number 3 matchup. The Longhorns sit atop the AP poll at number 1 with 25 first place votes. Then there's Penn State at number 2 with 23 first place votes. I'm not going to go into my Penn State diatribe, but I've been not shy about my feelings about Penn State on this podcast. And then finally, the Buckeyes land at number 3 with 11 first place votes. So we are back here, folks, with our annual season prediction podcast for 2025. We did this very same podcast almost to the day last year. And guys, I want to start with, I'm going to go a little off script here because this wasn't on the list of things that I sent to you when we talked about this pod. I'm going to start with who you guys think Ryan Day is going to name as his starting quarterback for the 2025 season. He hasn't done that yet. Now, the Buckeyes are set to scrimmage again over the weekend, and it's a good bet that Ryan Day will reveal the name of his starting quarterback when he meets with the media on Monday. Now, we're being led to believe by some very credible members of the Ohio State beat, like Bill Landis and Jeremy Birmingham, that this is a real competition between sophomore Julian Sayin and junior Lincoln Kienholz. CP, I'm going to start with you. Which one of those quarterbacks do you expect Ryan Day to name as his starter next week?
Julian, yes, I'm saying. The kid is thank you. But no, he's come on. At the end of the day, there might be a package for Lincoln. I like the kid's name. That's a great LK. That's great. But, at the end of the day, when you have weapons like we have, which is a plethora of just, this receiving core, you couldn't script a better, receiving core. But the person that's going to get us to, the ball to those people is Julian Sayin.
Strong take. All right, CP. PBH, what do you think? Who's Ryan Day going to name as his starting quarterback next week?
Dude, so as much as it pains me to do it, this might be an exclusive for the BDB, but I actually 100% agree with Mr. Plummer on this one. Right? I mean, because come on, we've seen this movie before. This is Devin Brown 2.0.
Yeah.
So, it makes sense, right? You're going to have a competition, and Kienholz, probably has some skill sets that Sayin doesn't. But as Chad mentioned, right, give me the guy that can throw the ball the best to the best wide receiver, in college football, in pro football, in the last 15 years, whatever. That almost has to be your northern light, your guidepost.
Right.
And if it takes a little bit of time, which it will, and but you got to go with the most pure passer, and for all, everything that we've heard or read, that's Julian. And maybe there's a short yardage package.
Yeah, goal line package or something. Yeah.
Yeah, but it just kind of feels like, as much as, and I saw that thing from Landis too, right? Oh, this might be real. It's like, I don't really think it's that real, bro.
Yeah. I was going to reference that. Landis wrote, I actually subscribed to his Substack, and he wrote on Substack a couple of weeks ago that, he believes it's a real competition. But then there was one excerpt from that piece that stood out to me, which was this, quote, Sayen's throwing and processing abilities have been described as extraordinary. Kienholz, meanwhile, is a phenomenal athlete in need of more polish as a passer, end quote. And I think that tells you everything you need to know about who's going to win a starting job, right? And I said this to you guys over text, I think it was last week. This isn't 2016. When there was a dearth of offensive skill talent around the quarterback, and we had to lean on JT Barrett to run the ball 200 times that season, just to have a functional offense. You guys have already referenced it. Look, this offense has Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, Brandon Innes, Max Clare, and I totally agree with the two of you. Give me the quarterback with that extraordinary arm talent and processing abilities that's going to get the ball to those playmakers accurately and on time, and that player is Julian Sayen. Now, at the same time, and I think all of us we don't mean to sound dismissive of Lincoln Kienholz because there's a lot to like in his skill set. He's an incredible athlete.
Concur.
Clearly he has a work ethic, right? Because he was named an Iron Buckeye this offseason, and by all accounts, if Ryan Day needed to call on Kienholz at any point this season, I think he could rely on him to run the offense at a high level. I mean, that's what my eyes told me watching the spring game. Watching that scrimmage, Julian Sayen definitely looked like QB1 and the player with the most arm talent. But Kienholz looked like a very capable backup. Now, I think you'd like to have a little more experience in that room, ideally. But, other than that, I think Ryan Day has got to like what he has in those two quarterbacks. And he also has his quarterback in waiting, by the way, in Tavian St. Clair. So it's a very healthy quarterback room right now for the Buckeyes. You got the 5-star talent poised to be QB1, very capable backup, and then you got your quarterback of the future. So I think life is good right now in the quarterback room for Ohio State. All right, fellas, next up. I want each of you to give me one player who isn't a household name to Ohio State fans right now, but will be by the end of the season. PVH, I'm going to have you get us started on this. Who do you got?
Well, household name, that's not... So my guy, I jotted down that my breakout player of the year is Caden Curry. I think he's always flashed, right?
Yeah.
But he's been behind guys, right? GT stayed.
Yeah, I like
Sawyer
it.
stayed. And then my 1A on that list is Jermaine Matthews. I think he's poised for another big year. They're not known names, but I've always loved Curry. He played as a freshman. He's just been, kind of stuck on the depth chart, but he seems always be a dog to me. So I think he's going to have a huge year.
Those are solid picks. I like those, PVH. Yeah. How about you, CP?
I'll make this real quick.
Okay.
The first answer to your question is Peyton Pierce, the linebacker.
Oh, that's a good pick.
Everything I'm hearing and reading about this kid, he's going to be the next, Pat Samoyer, the kid is dialed in.
Yeah.
Right? So that's and then I'm going to make this real quick. Then I'm going to go with James Peoples at the running back, Philip Daniels, O-line, and then the kid's got a mean streak, dude. Everything I'm just he's fucking freak out, and then Bo Atkinson, the NC transfer.
Okay.
That kid's making some news, making some waves.
All right.
So I know it was one player, but I wanted to get in a couple.
Okay. Well, there are a lot of players you could mention here, as you guys have already demonstrated. And that's part of what has me so excited about this team. I'd say there are 10 players at least that you could put into this category and feel good about it. Either, key reserves from a year ago who will be first-time starters this year, like Jermaine Matthews, like potentially a Caden Curry, PVH, or highly productive incoming transfers like a Bo Atkinson, who were really good players for other schools last season. Or you could even mention one of the uber-talented true freshmen who's coming in. There's a number of different directions you can go. I'm going to go in a slightly different direction here with sophomore safety Jalen McClain. Now, McClain's recruiting profile doesn't really jump out at you. At 6 feet, 200 pounds, McClain was a 3-star prospect, according to 24/7 Sports, out of West Orange, New Jersey. And he only played 107 snaps last season as a true freshman. But in the limited action I watched of McLean, he always seemed to be around the ball, guys, and his PFF grades from last season are outstanding. 81 overall, 82 in coverage, 79 in tackling, 75 against the run. And McLean was also named an Iron Buckeye this offseason. So I think he's going to win that starting safety spot vacated by Lathan Ransom. And he's going to make a lot of plays for this defense. Keep your eye on Jalen McLean, boys. I think by the end of November, he'll be a household name to Ohio State fans.
Well, this is why you're better at this, because I don't even know who the fuck that is, right? Like,
come on,
I don't even. He played last year.
107 snaps. Yeah, I mean, that's
a lot. That's like none.
Yeah, but it was not a lot of meaningful snaps, mostly garbage time and special teams. But he's a player that stood out to me, and I think those PFF grades, they say a lot about everything that he can do.
That's a good take.
All right, fellas, one more player personnel prediction before we move into team predictions. Will Ohio State send a player to New York as a Heisman finalist, and if so, who will it be? And before I get your predictions here, guys, I want to share a few numbers. I personally think there are three realistic options. You don't have to choose from these three, but I think there are three realistic options here. The obvious choice is Jeremiah Smith, and according to FanDuel, Smith has the best odds of any non-quarterback at plus 1,000 to win the award. The next option is Julian Sain. He only has 12 career pass attempts, but Sain is not a totally unrealistic choice. He's not a totally unrealistic choice when you consider the fact that Ryan Day has sent 3 different first-year starting quarterbacks to New York as Heisman finalists. We talk about it all the time on this podcast. Dwayne Haskins, Justin Fields, and C.J. Stroud all went to New York as first-time starters under Ryan Day. And FanDuel would seem to agree about Sain. At the moment, Sain is tied with Arizona State quarterback Sam Leavitt for the 9th best odds to win the Heisman at plus 2,000. And then after Smith and Sain, I think the only other realistic possibility, would be Caleb Downs. And as a defensive player, Downs is a long shot to win it, right? Only one full-time defensive player, Charles Woodson, in 1997 has ever won the Heisman. But we've seen a fair amount of full-time defensive players in recent seasons make it as finalists to New York. Nebraska's Ndamukong Suh in 2009, LSU's Tyrann Mathieu in 2011, Michigan's Jabril Peppers in 2016, and Aiden Hutchinson in 2021, and of course our own Chase Young in 2019. So CP, I want to start with you. Does Ohio State get a player to New York as a Heisman finalist? And if so, who will it be?
Obviously Jeremiah the Messiah. But then that's where I was going into Julian. Yes, I'm saying, I'll say it again. I think those two will be in New York.
Both of them.
When it comes down to it.
Okay, so you got Sain and Smith both making it as finalists. PVH, how about you?
Well, I'm glad that we're back to fucking reality, because that's not fucking happening. Come on, dude. I mean, Smith will be there. Sain's not even going to sniff it. That's ridiculous. It's not happening.
You have no fucking clue, dude.
Really? I don't have any clue? What do you mean I don't have any clue? I watch them just as much as anybody. Dude, number one, I challenge anybody, ChatGPT, to go back and how many times have 2 players from the same team made the Heisman finalists? It's not very many, if ever.
Ohio State did it in 2019 with Justin Fields and
2019
and
right,
Chase Young.
It's not happening. Chad, you had your time. Zip it. So if you expect a first-year starter quarterback to make the Heisman, I just find that
it's happened.
absurd.
It's happened 3 other times under Ryan Day at Ohio State. Dwayne Haskins, Justin Fields, and C.J. Stroud have all gone.
Did you not hear that?
To New York as Heisman finalists. So
all right, well then fucking great. They're all. I mean, why not throw in Caleb Downs? Just make it a Buckeye party, and I'll throw in Gabe Van Sickle as the 4th. There'll just be 4 fucking Buckeyes there. We'll win every game 72-0 in Kumbaya. I mean, if you guys want to jump on that train, then you go for it. But I'm just saying it's not happening in my opinion.
You think it's Smith? That's your.
All right.
So
Yeah,
well, let me ask you this, PBH. I mean, do you have any conviction that Ohio State will send one player as a finalist, or do you think?
Yeah, Smith will be there.
You think Smith will be there?
Because
okay.
the hype is so ridiculously,
Yeah.
and warranted behind him. I mean, he is the best player, and I mean, dude, he could. I mean, literally, I kind of said it tongue in cheek. He might be the best player in football right now, right?
I mean, he's at the top of everybody's top 50 or top 100 list. I mean, anybody that's done a player rating for 2025, pretty much all of them have I haven't seen one that doesn't have Jeremiah Smith number 1.
Yeah, but dude, I'm saying
it's crazy.
The NFL. I'm including
in the NFL. Yeah, well, you could make it. You could probably make a very good argument.
Like if you were a general manager right now, it's like, okay, you can choose any player, NFL or college, as in the draft. I mean, he's probably a top 10, right? So I might mean somewhat hyperbolic, but the guy's going to be there. Of course, he's going to be there, and but to expect more than that, I just don't think that's probably going to happen. Dude, I would love it, and if it does, then it means we're a juggernaut. That's the good part.
Okay, the strong take. Now, my pick is Julian Sayin. Because I'm
that's why you're defending Chad.
My pick is Julian Sayin because I'm envisioning a 2025 season for Jeremiah Smith where he's still hugely impactful, but his numbers are either flat or down slightly from a year ago because defenses are selling out to stop him. And that would force Julian Sayin to spread the ball around to other very capable playmakers like Carnell Tate, Brandon Inniss, Max Clare, which would still give him the necessary stats as a quarterback to get to New York. And I also think that's what needs to happen for Ohio State to get back to the CFP. I'm just not sure a 2,000-yard Heisman season for Jeremiah Smith would be the best thing for the Ohio State offense. I kind of think a more balanced attack with a couple of receivers in that like 1,100-yard range and maybe a third in that 700 to 800 range is probably what we want from the Ohio State passing game, something more balanced. And if that happens, Julian Sayin could very well end up in New York. So that's my pick. I think he gets there. He'll be the fourth first-year starting quarterback under Ryan Day to get to New York as a Heisman finalist. All right, fellas, let's get to some team predictions now. What will Ohio State's regular season record be? And before I get to your answers, let's run down the schedule quickly. The Buckeyes have home dates with number 1 Texas and number 2 Penn State. They're on the road at number 12 Illinois and number 14 Michigan. These are their AP poll rankings. They have 2 other road trips to stadiums where it's very difficult to win. Washington and Wisconsin. I wouldn't be surprised if both of those games are night games. Then they get 2 other mid-tier Big Ten teams in the horseshoe that won't be easy to beat in PJ Fleck's Minnesota Golden Gophers and the UCLA Bruins, who now have Nico Iamaleava as their quarterback. I think Iamaleava gives them a puncher's chance in that game. So, PVH, I'm going to kick this to you to get us started. Give us your regular season record prediction for the Buckeyes.
11-1.
11-1.
Oh.
Would you like to elaborate on that?
No, because we have other questions, and I'm going to tell you why I think it's 11-1.
I like it. Okay, got it. CP, give us your best guess at Ohio State's regular season record.
I'm going to go with one of my favorite people, and I hate to because thus far he's been Van Sauce, but I'm going 11-1 as well.
11-1. Okay, got it. Now, Phil Steele rates Ohio State's schedule the 24th toughest in the country, and when you're talking about 136 teams in the FBS, that's a very, very tough schedule. At the same time, Ohio State is tied with Alabama at 89% for the top spot in Bud Elliott's blue chip ratio rankings. And that's a big reason why the Buckeyes are favored in all 12 of their regular season games. I have Ohio State finishing the regular season with 10.5 wins and 1.5 losses. That's a total cop-out.
Is there a safety?
1.5.
PVH, I said this to you on our last pod a few weeks back. There are 2 games on this schedule. On the schedule, I feel Ohio State could very well lose, right? Texas, because they can match Ohio State's talent, and they're getting Julian Sayin fresh out of fall camp in his first career start. And Michigan, because of the intangibles, they have Wolverines own a psychological edge over us right now, and for whatever reason, Ryan Day just hasn't been able to get past the mental block he seems to have coaching in that game. Gun to my head, I'm going to say 10-2, but I think this team has the goods to go undefeated as well, and certainly 11-1. But gun to my head, I'm saying 10-2.
Yeah, that's the logical, right? 10-2. Then that's where I was going to go. But I think if they play to their potential, they're going to go 11-1. They'll stumble at some point, right? It's just inevitable in today's college football world. Or not even stumble. They'll just lose a tough game, right?
They'll lose a tough game to a quality football team. There's a lot of good teams on the schedule.
Stupid mistake. Yep.
All right, fellas, next prediction. Will Ohio State win the Big Ten? And if so, who will they defeat in the Big Ten title game? CP, get us started on this one.
I'm going to go with Ohio State, Penn State.
Okay.
And I'm going to leave it at that.
Ohio State, Penn State for the Big Ten championship. Okay. How
And
about
and just for the record, right now, I'm okay if we don't win the Big Ten championship.
all right, PVH? How about you?
Just for the record, right now.
Got it. Noted. Thank you, CP.
Thank
so
you.
the answer to the question is no.
The answer to the question is no.
No.
Oh God, 11-1. Like,
No, they're not going to win the Big Ten championship.
Well, let me ask you to expand on that. Will they make the Big Ten title game? Or do you think they...
No.
Okay. Yeah, I thought a long time about this question, and I'm not sure.
So have I.
I'm not sure this team is constructed for the type of regular season that leads to a conference championship. I don't see 13-0 or 12-1 for this team, which is what, if you look at the last few Big Ten champions, it's 13-0, 12-1. That's kind of the range you need to be in to win a Big Ten title. There's just enough youth at key positions, most especially quarterback, that makes me think they'll need the regular season to work out some kinks, and that might mean dropping a couple of games. With the way this roster is constructed, I think this team is set up more for postseason success than regular season success. Julian Sand, James Peoples, Edric Houston, Caden McDonald, Jalen McLean, those players all figure to be much better players in December than September. So gun to my head, I'm also going to say no, PVH. Ohio State will not win the Big Ten, and I would not be surprised if they missed a Big Ten title game again. But I also think it's a very good bet the Buckeyes will be playing their best football going into late November, and they'll be a team nobody wants to play in the CFP. All right, next prediction, guys. How many Big Ten teams will make the CFP, and which teams will those be? This question goes to you first, PVH.
Okay, I got the Buckeyes, I got Penn State, Oregon, and then so they quit 4.
It can be
Illinois.
And Illinois. Okay,
Dude,
so you have 4.
Only because have you looked at Illinois' schedule?
It's terrible.
It's terrible. And by the way, Oregon's schedule is not that better. That not that much, dude. And so Illinois has no Penn State. They don't play Oregon. They don't play Michigan. They basically play us.
That's
so Illinois will be, and it's kind of like everybody's on the Bielema bandwagon. They'll be this year's Indiana's, but I do have the Big Ten having 4 teams in.
Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon, and Illinois are your picks.
Yep.
Okay, got it. CP, how about you?
Well, I'm gonna rolling with PVH, Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon, and I have Illinois / USC.
What?
Oh,
USC.
so
Yeah.
Illinois or USC will get.
Hear you. Read all about it.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to do a copy and paste of my predictions from last season. I have Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon, and Iowa. Iowa brought in one of the best quarterbacks in the FCS, Mark Gronowski.
Are you crazy?
Iowa brought in one of the best quarterbacks in the FCS, Mark Gronowski of South Dakota State. Gronowski is a 5th-year senior, a dual-threat quarterback who put up huge numbers for the Jackrabbits in 4 seasons there. There's been a lot of buzz around him in fall camp, and Iowa's schedule sets up nicely, I think. Now, their 2 toughest games, Penn State and Oregon, are in Kinnick. And look, if Kirk Ferentz finally has himself a legit quarterback in Gronowski to go with what I'm sure will be the usual great defense and special teams that they play at Iowa, I think they could win 10 games and potentially get into the CFP. So I'm going to take a little bit of a flyer on Iowa.
So I get you didn't want to pick the Sheik pick. Are you willing to put any money behind this Iowa pick? And
yeah,
secondarily, It's kind of like the James Franklin scenario, right?
Right.
Nobody believes in him, so until he proves it or does it and proves it, it's the same thing with Ferentz. What has he shown you in the last 7 years that
it's been a
he's
minute.
actually going to open up the offense to, and I get it's 12 teams, so. I'm just kind of picking at this pick a little bit, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, it's a valid question, and you're right. I mean, Ferentz is, his offenses have been, mediocre to say the least.
Worst
It's not
in
as
college football?
some of the
worst in college football.
2 years ago, it was the worst offense in college football. To be sure, yeah, you're right. No, hey, listen, it's valid criticism. It is a bit of a flyer. I acknowledge that. I do love they've got the best defensive coordinator in the country in Phil Parker. We know they're going to play great defense. They're always great on special teams. And I think the feeling has always been on Iowa, if they could just get the quarterback play, that could put them over the top. So I'm saying that's going to happen this year. And Illinois, we talked about Illinois PVH on our last pod when we looked at the 5 season-defining games of 2025. Illinois was a fucking smoke and mirror show last year. If you look at their statistics, they're in the 100, like 80s, 90s, 100s, a lot of key stats. They played a lot of really tight games last season, and their 2 best offensive players are now gone. I have a feeling Illinois takes a step back this year. I'm just not a big buyer in it.
Look at their schedule, though.
Yeah, that's true.
I believe in Belima.
Yeah, he's a great coach, but I mean, dude, when they went up against Penn State, they could. I don't know how many first downs they got in that game against Penn State, where they only scored 7 points. They got blown out by Oregon, only scored 9 points in that game. They went to overtime with Purdue, who's one of the worst teams in the FBS last year, and then they won 3 or 4 other really, really close games that could have gone either way. I mean, they could have easily been 6-6 or 7-5 last year instead of 10-2 in the regular season. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun. And yeah, let's put some money on it, PVH. Let's put 100 on it or something.
Yeah, let's hit the market.
Illinois gets in. My pick's Iowa. Your pick's Illinois. And that'll be fun. All right, fellas, listen. Let's get to our next prediction. Give me your best guess at the top 4 seeds for the college football playoff. Now, remember, guys, it's a straight seeding model this season, so you don't have to be a conference champion to get a top 4 seed. The 4 highest-ranked teams in the final CFP rankings will be seeded 1 through 4 in the CFP and receive a first-round bye. CP, get us started here. Which teams will be the top 4 seeds in the 2025 CFP?
OSU, obviously the Buckeyes.
All right.
The reason we talk like
not to be mistaken with the Cowboys, Oklahoma
right?
State.
Yeah.
All right.
Nah, fuck the mullet. Texas Longhorns.
Okay.
Penn State and Clemson.
Okay. So
now my sleepers are Bama, Kansas State, Georgia, and LSU.
Well, the question, you picked 4. You've picked 8.
I know, God damn it, I couldn't decide on that 4.
That's so you want to talk about a hedge. Now, your official picks are Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, and Clemson.
Longhorns.
Yep. All right, PVH.
Yeah.
Who are the top 4 seeds for the 2025 CFP?
So I understand, as I just wrote it down again, that I'm going to say some things later that makes it not really... You can't have it both ways, but I'm going to try and have it both ways right now. I got the Buckeyes, Texas, Bama, and I agree with CP. Again, Clemson, again, look at their fucking schedule.
Yeah.
It's a joke. The ACC is a joke. Now, if I don't have Ohio State winning the Big Ten, I don't know kind of how they're in the top 4.
Yeah, how do they get to the top 4 if they don't even qualify for the Big Ten championship game?
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Okay. I just said that.
All right. So, sorry, to review, you said it's going to be Texas. It's Texas,
Ohio State, Texas,
like...
Clemson, and Bama.
Okay. Wow. So you don't have the Big Ten champion in the as a top 4 seed?
Dude, we've covered this for the 3rd time. It's not. I mean, come on. I'm having a few drinks.
Franklin. He's not a fan of James Franklin.
Okay. No. I'm not sure that's possible, but okay. Those are your picks.
I can't have it both ways, but I'm like, I'll try to have both ways.
All right.
I'm with you, PBA.
All right. For me, it's Texas, Penn State. I'm going to play along with the Penn State love in the regular season only. Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame, and Clemson.
What?
Oh,
wow.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame, and Clemson.
Who's their fucking quarterback?
We'll see. They've got a couple of options. I know C.J. Carr is in the mix, Lloyd Carr's grandson. I don't know where the quarterback competition stands for Notre Dame, but there is
Lloyd Carr.
There is a legit competition for their starting quarterback spot as well at Notre Dame. So Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame, and Clemson for me. CP, it's Ohio State, Penn State, Texas, and Clemson for you. PVH, it's Ohio State, Texas. Did you say Clemson as well?
I did,
and
that's
Bama?
the only team we all had.
Yeah,
outside of
Bama,
the Buckeyes.
And did you say Bama as well?
Yeah. Bama.
Okay. All right. Okay, but you don't have the Big Ten champion in your Final Four. Very interesting. Okay. All right, fellas. Last question, and feel free to turn this into a prediction if you want. What does a successful season look like for Ohio State this year? PVH, get us started.
So my buddy, again, so we're little simpatico on this podcast, which I don't like, so we're going to have to do a better job. I don't think Ohio State's winning the Big Ten. And yes, individually, I want to win every game. I don't really care about, the whole Michigan narrative anymore. I just don't. It's a new world. The college football is now the NFL. And
Preach.
the most important thing is peaking at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So forget about bowls, the BCS. Like, I think we're still all prisoners of that because we've watched it for
it's 50 years of conditioning. It's kind of hard to unlearn, right?
Right. And if Ohio State fans didn't unlearn that last year, then I don't know what to tell you. So I don't, and that's why I go back to, I don't think they're going to win the Big Ten. I don't think, I do think they're going to be one of the best teams in the country. I do think they have a legitimately great chance to win a championship. I think they need to make the championship game to constitute a successful season.
Okay.
But if even, and I wrote this down. In the last 20 years, how many, and Zach, you probably know the answer to this right off the bat, but how many times has Ohio State won a Big Ten championship? I don't care. And in fact, don't even answer it. I don't even want to know. What I care about is winning a national championship, and that is what last year proved.
Yeah.
So peak at the end of the season, make a run in the playoffs. If you lose to Michigan and you do what you did last year, I'm totally fucking fine with that. I am not a part of you have to beat them. Of course I want to beat them, but I just think it's last year's thinking.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at.
All right. I like it, PVH. CP, what does a successful season look like for the Buckeyes this year in your view?
A successful season to me is we get through the Big Ten, regardless if we win that or not. We're in the college playoff, and we're in the semi, championship game, of course, obviously. But I want to be in that final, four.
Final four, the semis.
Okay. I feel like that semifinal.
Semifinals. Okay. Yeah, I would not be surprised if Ryan Day, with a fair amount of youth at some key positions, plays the long game this season with an eye on peaking as they head into December. To your point, PVH. And as we've already discussed, that might mean, a couple blemishes along the way. For me, a successful season would be Ohio State playing their best football by late November, beating Michigan, and making another deep run in the CFP. By the way, PVH, I know you don't, you don't care about the Michigan game anymore, but that game in Ann Arbor could have some old-fashioned 2023 stakes, in that the losers' postseason dreams are completely ruined, because I think both teams are likely to have a couple of losses on their records going into that game, and the loser could be left out.
Really? You think the loser of the Ohio State-Michigan game is not getting in?
It depends on the number of losses, right? I mean, I think if they both go into that game 10-2, and the loser's got 3 losses, could very well get left out.
Yeah, but how are we going to have 3 losses going into that game? I mean, I think okay. Off script. Do we win the Texas game? Yes or no? Chad?
Yes.
Zach?
Well, we're going to do a look at that game and give our predictions, but
okay.
gun to my head, right? I've already told you guys that that's one of two games I think Ohio State can realistically lose. I mean, I
think, dude, I think we win that game. I think we're going to have other stumbles, right?
Yeah.
So not to, take our ammo out for these other things. And the other thing is, right, like, I cannot fathom a scenario where from now until the day I die, Ohio State is not in a 12-team playoff, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a TV show.
Right.
We're a TV show, right? The numbers are staggering.
It's all about ratings.
Yeah, but it was all about ratings in the 4-team playoff. Dude, it was all about ratings in the 4-team playoff.
Yeah,
and Ohio State,
that's way harder.
Ohio State twice got left out as a one-loss Big Ten champion, right? 2018, they got left out as a one-loss Big Ten champion.
The rules were archaic and they made no sense. But under in the new world order, if all right, I'll put $500 on this or $500 million. Until the day I die, I expect Ohio State to
I agree.
Playoff.
I agree because I agree that
We're
especially
always the top 12.
When we get to, because it'll be straight seeding this year, so yeah, they would have to plummet out of the top 12. But look, if Ohio State goes in, what if they don't play well and lose to Texas, and they don't play well and lose to Penn State, and then you're going into the Michigan game. I'm just saying it could potentially have some old fashioned.
What if start growing hairy? Like, it's very unlikely, dude.
I agree. It's unlikely. It's unlikely. It could actually. Actually, I think it's more likely that if the loser's Michigan, they're left out, than if the loser's Ohio State, that they're left out. But just the point I was trying to make about television ratings, we've watched some very, very good Ohio State teams with one stinking loss, get left out of that 4-team playoff. The 2015 team, only one loss. 2018, only one loss as a Big Ten champ, and they got fucking left out. 2 years ago in 2023, we had Marvin Harrison Jr., a very good team. One loss, they still left us out.
On the flip side of that, though, we've been included and we've produced so.
Yeah, but that's not the point. That's not the point. The point is that if it were purely television ratings, Ohio State would have been in every year in the 4-team playoff. If they're on the fringe this year,
be one of the top 3.
Yeah, but if they're on the fringe this year, I'm not saying it's a lock based on television ratings. If they're hovering around it anyway. We'll see how it plays out. We can debate this on another day. But all right, fellas, listen. That was a nice effort. Why don't we end things there for our listeners? The next time you'll hear from us will be game week. Look for a preview of Ohio State's season opener against Texas on Thursday, August 28th. Until then, thanks so much for listening, and go Bucks. You've been listening to the South Stands, a Buckeye football podcast. Follow us on X at South_Stands.